Alright. Over the years, rollerblading has produced some cracking tricks. Here's 10 that stick out in my mind. Erik Bailey, the greatest Sweatstance ever, lifetime guarantee. Unbelievable. Just standing in a Sweatstance for that long makes my muscles hurt a little bit. Now the ledge was originally done by
Sexy David, dude. Sexy David from Sacramento. He had like back farfed it.
Bailey had seen the ledge when he'd been driving from Boise to Wessex via Reno.
Oh, holy shit, dude. There it is. Like, God, it's sweaty, that thing.
On the first day, he skated it for about 20 minutes before he was kicked out. Then he came back the next day at 8:30 before the library opened. He was getting most of the way, but just coming off early. Had a few bumps and bruises.
Fucked my hand up and hurt my butt cheek.
And eventually had worn out his sole plate so much he had to ask a van for one.
Let me get a sole plate, Yvonne. Having a worn out sole really sucks.
5 or 10 more tries later. Look at the state of this thing. It's an absolute monster, man. It's not even like it was like a low ledge and the situation was just basically balancing it out. You had to actually huck up to it in the first place. And then he says himself that it felt like it was extra beveled, so you really had to work to get the grind. And man, was it worth it. He was absolutely stoked. Over the moon at the end, shirts off, hats off, running around like a loony. It took him about 2 hours overall. Then he had to drive 7 hours to get home. Mate, dedicated. We should also never forget that Bailey stopped the Valo skate being a growl. Mate, that is a call of the century. Most important decision in rollerblading ever.
Growl piece of shit.
2006, good year for music. James Blunt, beautiful. You're beautiful. Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten.
Still unwritten.
Panic at the Disco, I write sins not tragedies. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lock up your emo daughters, man, come on. Nickelback, Photograph. Look at this photograph. And the most important one, Face to Music, Roces, or Roces, whatever you're calling them, which featured this. Ollie Short, toe roll, 360 to the bank, then soul and 180 out.
Hello, Governor.
Lordy, that is a great trick. To be messing about with toe rolls up there like that, to line yourself up. Definitely would have been like a fast, steep drop into that bank. A lot of speed to carry onto that ledge. Handled it perfectly well. And friggin' hell, I just loved this at the time. I was a massive fan of Ollie Short, still am a massive fan of him. Probably one of my favourite Roces riders actually, you know. Him, Julio, Hall Green, Sessa, mate, Tom Fry.
This is the most essential part of the Roces packaging, the toilet paper. Because once you see the skate, you shit your pants.
All absolute bangers. So many good Roces riders actually over the years. Man, and what a trick. It just really stood out at the time as well, because I know people were moving more into that whole kind of rock movement side of things and getting a little bit more involved in that. But people were still like, oh, let's do hammers and things like that. So to do something intricate, but then like blend that into something that was a hammer, friggin' hell, top of the pops, man. George of the Jungle.
Watch out for that.
Alex, George of the Jungle, Broskow, 540 through a friggin' tree in a KFC straitjacket. His section in this was utterly phenomenal. I'm pretty sure like every trick is iconic actually. But this one just stood out because it was ridiculous. Jumping from one level to another level via the gap in a tree. Friggin' hell. And it looks like it's a fairly like tight gap. There's not like much room for error there. I mean, I've seen bigger gaps when people try and do mistrals and their feet are apart. Jeez, this was a tight one and he's just absolutely sent it, man.
Just gonna send it.
Friggin', what an absolute champ and what an iconic moment. And the thing about Broskow is he's still doing it. How long has he been on top? Now David Sizemore has dropped a lot of stunning rollerblading, absolutely gorgeous stuff, man. I'm always mega keen to see his footage. He is such a good skater. Wakey, negs and bakey. That is the best negative ever. I can remember when this came out and just texting people furiously like, this is unbelievable, you've got to watch this thing. What a friggin' entry. I've struggled with this decision, but I've gone for his Topsoul and the curve rail in State of the Art by Jonas Hansen. crispy. It's just incredible. It looks beautiful. Having the technique to be able to like get the weight in the right place, not completely spin out like you're on the waltzers on this thing, send it all the way down. Oh man, and just like how beautiful it looks. It's just, there's just so much going on that makes this clip incredible. I absolutely love it. Erik ski Perkett 180 stair gap at UCI.
Do or die, I gotta do it. Said I was gonna do it, so manned up and did it.
He certainly friggin' did. Erik has rocked up to this thing and said,
I would definitely do it, but we need to get a car in here.
CJ, the filmer at the time, went and grabbed the Volvo. Erik is hanging on to the side of this Volvo. The car definitely shouldn't be there at the university. He's bombing it at 45 miles per hour, this thing, and he just gaps it. Man, he clears it by miles as well. It's 12 flat 12, potentially the biggest gap ever done in like all the extreme sports. People still talk about it today. It transcended rollerblading. It's got millions of views on YouTube. Absolutely incredible moment. It's just utterly Straight after this, him and his mates headed back to the Esco skate park and to the rock and roll skate shop, and he said the reaction was this.
Everyone was there shitting their pants.
Not surprising, and this was actually early on in his career as well. Wild. Every now and then this just pops up in my head.
Oh damn!
Turbo. It just feels like it shouldn't work. Easy peasy lemon squeezy? Nope. Difficult, difficult, lemon difficult. There is just so much to consider about this trick, and this is why I like it so much. So he's spinning 270 to the rail, and that's important. I know sometimes people would go, oh no, that's 360, but it's important to say that it's 270 to understand that he's like not coming onto it like that straight on. So he's got to float it over. He's got to get it just right. Got to get the weight of that momentum perfect. I bet you he's really good at like guessing how many coins are in a jar at like fates and stuff like that. Just got it so precise, man. It's unbelievable. So he's got to float it over that first rail. So it's a disaster as well. And he's got to get it so once he hits that rail, the momentum then can go down the rail rather than continue going. So he's got to have that confidence and belief in himself and like calm to, you know, sometimes when you want to spin to a rail, you just want to huck it and haul your ass into it, like proper throw the shoulder, throw it like you're throwing a body into a boot of a car or something. But he can't do that. So he's actually got to have faith and like spin it at like the right speed so he doesn't overspin and take himself over the rail to get it down. Then oh my god, it all comes together so well. I feel like this is like, you know, the peak of a tech hammer. It's really technical, a lot to think about, really considered, and it's totally burly as well. That rail's shaking all over the place. There's a rickety wall, and I mean you can tell at the end by his reaction.
I'm not doing it again. I'm trapped.
Utterly incredible. That makes it even better knowing that like that has been quite like dangerous for him and he feels that way about it, and I love that, like really sticking it on the line, putting your skills right to the test, and that's why it's iconic, man. My top 3 favourite stairs are Stairway to Heaven, the stair that Squirrel does in the meme, and El Toro. Ringmaster at the Nitro Circus, Chris Haffey is definitely considered one of the GOATs. He's always in the conversation and he has done some massive tricks in his time. Everything he released was like just full of amplitude, just huge stunts that were ridiculous, and such a skilled skater. He's rocked up to El Toro in a smart shirt and just lobbed a Fakie 720 down the thing. Did he have dinner reservations after this or something? Like, you gonna take that shirt off, Chris, while you do the trick? Nah, man, it's only gonna take me a couple of goes. I'm Chris Haffey. It's gonna be a doddle. Coming in Fakie, absolutely boosted the thing, nice and tucked up, gets a 720 spin, hits one of those landings where it kind of pops you up a bit and throws you around again more. But he's ridden the thing out in the end, and wow. Another iconic piece. Like, I remember seeing it again and just being like, oh my god. Rollerblading is the one, man. For a while, people thought El Toro was actually gone, but it's not. They just changed a few things around, and even a bloke on a unicycle has done it now. Brian Shima has done more than his fair share of bananas stunts. As a kid, this completely melted my mind. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. IMYTA 2002 Montreal. Brian Shima wall riding a across a building. Utterly ridiculous, man. I get nervous if there's a few people watching me tie my shoelaces. Imagine trying to wall ride across the side of a building with hundreds of people watching you. And it's not like if you miss, you're gonna like, you know, just like come down early and hit the floor and it'll be fine. No, you'd probably die if you didn't get to the other side. It was like blockbuster movie stunts. This would be the picture you'd put on the movie poster to get everybody in the cinema. I'd be like, jeez, look at this film, man, this looks mental. Also, look at this bloke at the beginning, get out of the way, mate. Oh, you almost got in the way of history there. Imagine that, imagine being that bloke. Oh yeah, I accidentally tripped up Brian Shima when he was about to friggin' defy the laws of physics. This trick is full of amplitude, there's loads of risk, there's a big crowd watching, loads of energy, loads of anticipation, excitement, and he's just knocked it out of the park, man. There's definitely people who are living in that like city who would have gone past this place just dreaming about doing that. Maybe even people didn't even think about it because they'd be like, no, that is impossible. Let's not even bother to look at that because it's never gonna happen. And Shima turned up and did it. He's having to jump on a picnic bench before he actually jumps out to do the wall ride. He actually gaps to the picnic bench. It's like twice the length of the picnic bench. That's when he takes off, lands on it, then shoots himself onto the wall. What an absolute lunatic. Iconic. King of the comebacks, John Bolino. Now I don't know if you've noticed, but Bolino actually gaps over a rail to get to this second higher rail which is on top of the ledge, which is a pretty ridiculous way to start the thing, you know. You've got to think about that, you might even catch it on your way up or something. Got past that pretty smoothly, got right on top of the rail, nice top side position. As he's coming down, weight slightly shifts over to the far side of it, so he can launch himself to the wall, gets a really good purchase on the wall ride, wall tap, comes out, gets the grab out of the wall ride, friggin' hell, man, and the landing, top 1% of best landed tricks ever or something. It's like it's nothing. Amazing technique, loads to think about, perfect execution. I mean, I'd say that was fairly iconic. Like Dustin Latimer, another one, always in the GOAT conversation. Now he's pulled off some outrageous moves in his time. I mean, the bloke changed the way we look at rollerblading, and I'm picking this. Wow. Dropping in off a bridge to an enormous bank, flat, then 540 to the next flat. Oh my goodness, man. And the form on this is just insane. It's so good, so nice and tucked up. I reckon it probably is one of the best looking 540s ever, and probably the best 540 ever. Man, it's just like momentous, man. And a proper iconic moment. I remember seeing that and again just being completely blown away what people were able to do on rollerblades. This is huge, man. I just couldn't believe it. How he managed to propel himself that far in the air and like keep it so nice as well. That was 10 moments in rollerblading that were iconic for me. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing at the time. I just remember that feeling of like, whoa, this is incredible. This is just the best shit ever. Like, love rollerblading. Still do love rollerblading, and there's still loads of good rollerblading going on now. What are your top 10 most iconic moments? What have I missed out in this? What should I include next time? If you like my stuff, here's another video you can watch. You can also support me through a PayPal donation thing. I also have a Patreon. You can buy some Spotty Dog merch as well. That really helps me out. Like, subscribe, chuck some comments in there, and I'll see you again soon. Spotty Dog.